Yeah, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So I want to talk about Shakur Stevenson and something that he said in an interview with Cigar Talk. And shout out to Cigar Talk and the host. I forget the brother's name, but he does a great job with these interviews when it comes to boxers. He really keeps up with the sport. He knows what's going on, and he knows how to connect with the guests. So shout out to the brother, man. I believe this is Shakur Stevenson's second appearance on Cigar Talk. And it was a great interview. Go back and watch it if you haven't already. Talked about a lot of things that you might want to know as far as keeping up with what's going on with Shakur Stevenson. But in this particular video, I want to touch on what he said when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, arguably the face of boxing. I think he the face of boxing. The numbers that he's been doing consistently leading up, and of course with the big gate and pay-per-view numbers that he did versus Ryan Garcia. On top of that, the actual performance in the fight. I mean, Tank Davis really has it all when it comes to being a superstar in the sport of boxing. And that's a great fight in the near future. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. I don't know how far down the line that this fight is. A year, 2 years, 3 years. Hopefully it's the former. Hopefully it's, sooner than 3 years. Hopefully it's sooner than 4 or 5 years, which is normally what we have to wait when it comes to getting these big fights. So that's a great matchup that I've always wanted to see. Shakur Stevenson versus Tank Davis. These guys are both phenomenal fighters, both very skilled. I think these two are two of the most complete fighters in the sport when it comes to just intellect, natural skills, and abilities. Of course, Tank Davis got that one-hitter quitter, the equalizer, power that very few fighters possess. But Shakur Stevenson, has that ring IQ, that defense, and that intellect and the dedication to the sport that a lot of fighters don't possess. In that interview, he asked Shakur Stevenson about Tank Davis. What did he think about that matchup? Talked about how they sat next to each other at, I believe it was either the Ryan Garcia fight or the Hector Garcia fight. And after the fight, they looked over at each other, and Shakur Stevenson told him, "I know I can beat Tank Davis." And he was like, "Well, what makes you think that, what is it, something that you've seen, or is it just your own self-belief and your abilities that make you feel like you can just beat Tank Davis?" Of course, you want to be confident as a fighter. That's another thing that I admire about Shakur Stevenson is his supreme confidence. Very confident fighter, and that shows in the ring. But he said that Tank is a special fighter. I'm a special fighter. And he just feels like it's not going to be a situation where I got to worry about what Tank got going on, and that's just what it is. Now he going to have to worry about me too. And the interviewer asked him, "Do you think it's a 50-50 fight?" Shakur Stevenson said, "Hell no." Now the disgust on his face when he said that, hell no, this ain't no 50-50 fight. It was like, absolutely not. And I believe Shakur Stevenson absolutely believes this shit. Like, he said, this ain't no 50-50 fight. Like, no, I'm that much better than Gervonta Tank Davis. Skillfully, I'm that much better than him. This ain't no 50-50 fight. And it wasn't like he was being disrespectful or trying to, shit on Tank Davis. You can see there's an obvious level of respect for his skill set, what Tank Davis brings to the table from a marketing perspective. Also, in the ring, the power. Shakur is fully aware of what Tank Davis possesses when it comes to the skill, the power, all of the things that make Tank Davis a great fighter. So I don't think it was any disrespect there, but it's just Shakur Stevenson believing himself that much and his ability and his skill. And he said, "No, this ain't no 50-50 fight." Now, me personally as a fan, I think that fight is as close to a 50-50 fight as you can get because Tank Davis has that power and that one punch knockout power. But another thing is a lot of people don't give Tank Davis credit for his skills. People don't talk about the boxing ability of Tank Davis enough, in my opinion. They don't talk about his ring IQ enough. They don't talk about his foot placement. They don't talk about his ability to close distance when he needs to, especially in clutch moments like he did versus Mario Barrios. When the fight was, Floyd Mayweather went over there and told him, hey, man, you might be down. And you see Barrios right now fighting at 147, just had a great victory over Yordenis Ugas. Point I'm making is that, and he went 12 with Keith Thurman. Point I'm making is that this dude is a bigger guy, longer, rangier, and Tank Davis, a smaller man, moving up to 140 in his very first fight at 140 after Barrios had been, a champion and ranked highly in multiple sanctioning bodies in that division, and he grew out of 140. So Tank Davis go up there for his first fight, you fighting a bigger guy, fight hanging in the balance, you turn on the switch, you flip that switch, and you close the distance on him. You dig what I'm saying? Take his jab away, close the distance, and proceed to get him up out of there. You feel what I'm saying? So that was a very impressive thing that Tank Davis did, and that wasn't just about power. That was about clutch. That was about that mentality to be able to turn it up when you need to. That was about skill set, being able to take away the jab. That was about distance control, being able to find his range and close and crash the pocket, get on the inside and start doing work. So Tank Davis got a lot of skill, man. A lot of people don't talk about his chin. He took a good left hand from Barrios in that fight too. Tank Davis got a chin on him. Took some shots from Isak Cruz. Tank Davis got a chin on him. Great fighter all the way around. Shakur Stevenson is a great fighter as well. I think he might be the most balanced fighter in the sport when it comes to transitioning from offense and defense, from offense to defense, from defense to offense. His distance control is probably number one. You got to put him up there with guys like Terrence Crawford, being able to control distance and make you fight at the range that he want to fight you at, up there with Dimitri Bivol, controlling distance. Shakur Stevenson does that as well as anybody in the sport. Andre Ward was great at controlling distance. Does that. I think Shakur Stevenson does that as well as anybody in the sport today. He got good hand speed. Tank Davis got great hand speed. These dudes possess so many skills and so many abilities, so much of a high boxing ring IQ between the both of them. It's hard for me to not say that that's a 50-50 fight. You know what I'm saying? That fight right there is a fight that I really want to see. I've always wanted to see that fight. And I think it's going to come down to, can Shakur Stevenson avoid the big punch of Gervonta Tank Davis for 12 rounds? That's going to be the big question whenever that fight does happen. But I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on this because I think it's a 50-50 fight. Shakur Stevenson said, hell no, it ain't no 50-50 fight. And the look on his face lets me know that he truly believes that none of these dudes can fuck with me. That's not a 50-50 fight. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Is Tank Davis versus Shakur Stevenson a 50-50 fight? In y'all eyes, do y'all lean more to one guy than you do the other? Is it 60-40 Tank way, 60-40 Shakur Stevenson way? What advantages do each guy have? Now, I know Shakur Stevenson got a fight coming up. Tank Davis is taking the rest of the year off. He said he'll be back first quarter 2024. But this is a fight that I want to see. I don't know how soon we gonna get it. Business of boxing, promoters, all those different moving parts get in the way. But Shakur did speak on in that interview as far as once his contract is up with Top Rank, he's going to be open and willing to talk to anybody that's trying to do great business. So at least that sounds promising. That sounds good. He was very adamant about that. So y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.